Hey guys, welcome back to Aurelia. This is episode 5, and today we are going to take a look at this place, which is right next to the plaza that we kind of started building in the previous episode. This is going to be something special because this is going to be the Residential Hive project. It's something that I was really excited for when I was first building it on the live stream, and I think it turned out looking really great. Alright, so let's get right into it. So this is something that you could have seen in the previous episode actually. We have been building that plaza that I already mentioned, and right next to the plaza I started building these commercial buildings, kind of like a row of commercial buildings to form some kind of a commercial shopping gallery or something like that. Now it was kind of clear at this point already when I was doing it that I really want to build some kind of a tiered area, like multi-level area, and it's probably going to be some kind of a residential area with some shops on the bottom level. All right. Also, you can see the tram on the side there, which is going to be also very important. So like I say, this place was right from the beginning kind of going to be some kind of a multi-level place. So right here I'm starting to build like a second tier. Okay, so we have the bottom tier where the entrance is to these buildings, these commercial buildings are, and then here we are building a second level, which is going to be already a residential level. All right. So again, we're using the rulers so I can get everything nice and cleanly built with the equal spacings everywhere and stuff like that, and kind of copying the shape of the ground level or the bottom level road up here as well. Now I kind of took a long time. I'm not showing it here, but I kind of took a long time to pick the right buildings for this place, and I decided I'm going to use these. I think they are high density buildings, Rico buildings, if I'm not mistaken. Not sure about the level, but they look really nice. They are obviously made to be like freestanding, some modern. I think they are actually called contemporary apartment buildings. I'm not exactly sure about that, but they look very modern and exactly what I need in this city, right? So I decided that I'm going to do these rows, and I'm going to alter between the colors. I'm going to use, well, you only have the two colors, the kind of like brown and the red, dark red. So I just decided that I'm going to do like the 45-degree with the brown buildings and then the other orientation with the red buildings. So I'm kind of going to do that as well for all the other areas, kind of. Okay, and this is going to be the next level, so the third level already. Okay, we are kind of going a bit faster here, with the multiple levels, but at this point this was kind of like a straightforward construction, so putting down buildings and roads is usually quite fast. Okay, but obviously when you start adding detailing, like I'm almost starting to do here, you're kind of going to slow down a bit. Okay, so at this level we are doing the boardwalk, all right, the wooden road. I'm later going to actually ban all kinds of traffic on this road, even though I'm not exactly sure how this place is going to work if I completely ban all the traffic. Well, obviously except for the service vehicles. So far it's actually looking good. When I could observe this place, when it's obviously done, or after it was done, then cars were actually looking quite alright going in here, and it did not look that weird, cars going on these boardwalks. Because they would probably be like, not your usual kind of front porch, boards, but some kind of a reinforced, sturdy road can take some traffic. And obviously the game doesn't work unless you provide all kinds of buildings with road access so that, all kinds of vehicles can go there, especially the service vehicles. Otherwise your city is just going to collapse. So that was something that I obviously had to provide for this place. Now, as you can see, I'm already kind of planning this place to be a bit green, which is kind of a theme that I was actually following for, all the places, all the nice residential places so far in the city. Well, I haven't built that many of them yet, but in the future, that's definitely going to be a theme that we will see multiple times again, okay? So, as you can see, almost done with the third level, the second residential, but the third overall. Now, in here, I'm starting to somehow incorporate that tram road into this entire place. So at first I was not exactly sure how this is going to go, but later I decided that the place is just going to go underground. The railroad is going to go underground and underneath this entire hive, and it's going to actually go back to the surface on the opposite side of this hive, where we are actually going to build something really, really nice in some future episodes. I'm not exactly sure if exactly in the next one, but maybe in the second one after this one. Okay, so we will see. Now also this place, I'm continuing some kind of a shopping gallery again, kind of returning back with it towards the areas that we have already built, but this is just going to be like this. I'm not going to show you like how I detailed this place completely and finished it in this episode, because even on the live stream I actually kept this place just like it is now, with all the roads in here and without any detailing. And later I actually returned here and detailed that. So probably that's going to be in the next episode. All right. So kind of need to fill the place between what we have built already and what we are going to do now. So just putting down these residential buildings in there and kind of trying to get the rough idea of what we might see here in the future. But like I mentioned before, we are going to take a look at this particular shopping area in some next episodes. I'm just doing it here because it will be visible in the cinematic shots for the residential area that we are building today. So, just so we can see what happened here. Okay, just like a rough outline of what this place is going to be here. So it's going to be some kind of a multi-level, again, area where we're going to have, again, the commercial buildings on the bottom and something else on the upper level. Okay, so as you can see, I already kind of almost finished the tram road down below. I put these elevated roads in here, and probably I haven't done that yet, but I will probably cover it with glass completely, even on the tram road, and especially on this like a marble walkway next to the commercial buildings. There's going to be glass and maybe some fake surfaces with the grass as well, maybe some gravel. We'll see about that, how it's going to turn that, how it's going to look, how that place is going to look like. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I think we can now go back to the residential area. So this place actually was kind of difficult at first because I had to provide access for the citizens. Now, as you can see, I use these elevators, but again, I'm obviously cutting out a lot of stuff that I have done here, kind of experimental stuff. So at first I wanted to do just some kind of stairs or maybe like some kind of like spiral walkways or something like that, but I decided that I'm going to use elevators and I'm going to do them as procedural objects. I think this is actually the first attempt at using procedural objects for the elevator buildings, so that I can get exactly the correct height that I need. Obviously, these elevators are from a pack, and they come in many different heights, but it's not exactly the height that you need all the time. So I had to use the procedural objects. That means that they are going to lose functionality if you're going to do that, because it's just going to be a decoration. So I had to use these pedestrian paths and kind of like heavily distort them, as you can see, and hide them nicely, neatly inside the elevator building, so that people can use this. It's going to be functional, but the ugliness of the road is going to be hidden in that procedural object. And this is kind of how it looked like. I built the first level from the shopping gallery floor kind of to the first level residential, and then from the first level residential even to the second level residential. Okay, and this is actually a third elevator that's going to go to the bottom of the hive. Okay, I first wanted to do maybe like one big elevator, like one tall elevator building, but it didn't exactly look that great. I know that, from functional point of view or practical point of view, it's probably going to be a bit difficult for people trying to reach, the bottom level from the upper level. They have to switch, 2 times for 3 different elevators, but the elevators just look so nice there, so I kept it. Okay, I just kept it. Now this is going to be the last level. In here I used different buildings. I used buildings that are a bit bigger, taller. They have these nice balconies, and those buildings actually, from the balcony side, they actually kind of look a bit tiered, so that the buildings, the apartments or the floors, the upper or more up you get, I'm not sure how to say that, the building gets smaller, kind of. So it kind of follows roughly or slightly that tiered idea still, even though the buildings look a bit different. But I think they still follow the futuristic theme, so it actually works. It actually works. Now, when it comes to parking, this is just like a decoration parking spot right there. I didn't really, plan on putting any other parking lots in this place. I don't think it would look nice. And just like I think I mentioned that in like the second episode or something, that I'm kind of assuming that parking lots are underground. And especially in this place, when I'm building these underground entrances, there definitely can be some underground parking lots. And maybe there are some kind of elevators from the parking lots into the residential buildings. Who knows? Maybe. Maybe we can, assume that, right? So this place right here is some kind of an underground, or call it, well, it's just like a road entrance into one part of the residential hive. Now, at first I wanted to just detail like some kind of a tunnel entrance or whatever, but like I mentioned before, the buildings actually do need to have like a physical access, road access to them. So I had to provide a functional entrance in here. Now, there is going to be another entrance on the other side of the hive for this particular area. But right now we just detailed this one over here. I think it looks really nice, and especially with the network extensions road, because now you can see inside the tunnel, which obviously is not possible with the vanilla roads. You can only see like a black, nothingness inside the tunnel. But now you can actually see inside the tunnel, which is really nice. And who knows, maybe it could actually look good from first-person view or something. So doing these kinds of details, as I mentioned before, putting the grass in here, just making sure that the area looks, very, very green. Later in the episode, I'm also going to be doing a lot of detailing when it comes to like trees and grass and all kinds of flowers. So it's going to be very colorful, actually. Now, at first, when I had this, and when I was kind of at this point, or before I started building these roads, I kind of thought that this residential area, and this residential mound or like a hive, is actually going to continue kind of indefinitely or whatever. But I decided at this point that it's actually going to be like an isolated little, like a hill, with residential buildings, right? So I had to end it somehow, and that's where I started building this first, the road, kind of like an angle slightly, towards that pond, which is filled with water, and put some kind of buildings on the side of it, and put some fake surface on top of the buildings. Now, these buildings that I chose here are actually perfect for this because, again, just like all these other buildings, they have balconies on the top floor, and they're going to look absolutely perfect. So again, they kind of create the idea of like a tiered, area or residential place. So on this side, like I mentioned before, there's going to be some kind of a tram stop somewhere. And we will need some kind of entrances, again, to the upper levels, right? So that there's just, multiple entrances to all kinds of different levels. So I put these elevator buildings, same thing, just like we did before. Now, doing some of the detailings already, because we are kind of almost done with the rough shape of the place, rough idea of what the place needs to be. So putting down some of these kind of actually final decorations, say. So kind of filled this corner because I was not exactly sure how to do this. I have to admit, those buildings that I put there, those two brown buildings, I had to convert them later to procedural objects because they were too far away from a road. And it's actually kind of strange in this game that if a single building in your game is not having a road access, and there's, for example, someone sick or dead, then all kinds of service vehicles that want to go into the city, they won't spawn because of that one particular building that's inaccessible, basically. So if you want your city to work, obviously vanilla players don't deal with this because they can't build buildings that are not having road access. But when you are doing these kinds of detailing, and especially this kind of detailing where actually providing road access is not exactly given, then you really need to pay attention to that. So actually later, in some future episodes, I was kind of bypassing this by basically switching some buildings into procedural objects. And I even mentioned that some of the buildings that I had to put here, I had to switch for procedural objects because providing a direct road access was just going to be too painful and it would look weird, okay? So some of the buildings in here are procedural objects. Well, in this particular place, just 2, I think, but in some different areas that I'm going to build in the future, I think I did a bit more. So those buildings then are going to be pretty much just like decorations, okay? So doing some kind of a road access to the top floor in here, or top level, I decided to do some kind of a spiral road in here. It's actually going to be very different in the future episodes because we are going to provide some more buildings into this area and more detailing. I kind of don't want to get into that in this episode because I would kind of need to leave it, you know, kind of in a weird state because it's going to make more sense when we are going to, you know, continue in the direction left to the camera, right? So yeah, this place right here, I was just doing some kind of like a preliminary detailing, maybe I could call it. But later we are going to make it much more interesting. That's kind of a common problem with some of these projects that I'm doing in these kinds of videos because they kind of take a long time. And if I really wanted to completely cover the entire episode with like one project, it would probably need to be like an hour long. So sometimes when I'm doing like cinematic shots, you definitely can see in the background some unfinished places or something like that. I mean, I'm supposed that you are already kind of used to it if you are watching this series, but yeah, there's kind of no way around it, I suppose. So right here we are just doing some kind of final detailing. I'm putting these glass barriers all around the place. Well, actually only the top and the second levels. And they're kind of looking very nice. I think that they are probably going to form some kind of a noise barrier as well as, you know, like a physical barrier, obviously, so that people don't fall down. But they look very good. I'm definitely going to overuse those glass barriers all around the city in the future as well. So doing final detailing in here, as you can see, putting down a lot of these flowers, the trees and all that. I'm kind of trying to make this place look just very nice. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest, how it's going to look like when it's going to be enclosed inside the big city, because we are kind of still in the downtown. So we are creating some kind of little, like a green island, but we have already done that on some kind of a smaller scale in the previous episode. So I think it's going to actually look very good, and it's just going to bring, like, you know, more colors into the entire city. And obviously, you know, residents would kind of love it to live in some buildings like these. I'm not exactly sure, but I do believe that these kinds of places that I'm building here are probably going to be a bit like luxury apartments, even though the lower levels might be a bit less so, but definitely the ones on the top here are going to be like super luxury apartments, you know, with all the nice parks in, like, around and actually inside the block, as we can see here. So something completely different from your usual high density, you know, living places in big cities, for example. Now I'm detailing these gardens or like backyards with the exact same chairs and parasols and tables that you can actually see on the balconies of these buildings. So it kind of looks, you know, the same, and it's actually creating like a very nice impression. Now I wanted to show you this. I wanted to continue that little ledge, even on top of the railroad tunnel or a tram tunnel, right? But I couldn't do that, obviously, because I couldn't put the building there, because then the tunnel would be invisible. So I used the procedural object, as you can see here, and I kind of completely squashed the building, right? And removed, well, not removed, but kind of made all the nodes that I did not want to see go inside. And then I just copy it and put it exactly like this. And as you can see, only the white ledge is visible. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. I thank you for watching. Leave a like if you liked the video, comment, share, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe. Thank you again for watching. Take care and goodbye.